Dorje nyongje nilo naro nama ba mi la ju jin ga mo ba de sa xie jia gun jin ga ma ba ji ji chung ji ju ba zhen la zhe da sa san ba lin zhu ba so sa la cha jia jie la nga de nyam me zhou ga na bo ga zhu la su wan de sa ga ju la ma na ju ban ze na nan la jin ju lo xin lo gong ji gong ba zong ba ye ze no gun la jia ji me ba do zen de da ju be gong la nian guo xian ba me ba zhen ji lo mo gue gong jian guo wo song ba ye me wa de guo ji be la ma la jun de so wan de be gong la ju me mo gue ji wa zhen ji lo yin me gong jian guo ye song ba ye gong xia do bian wo wo su ma de ma ju de gong ju bi gong lo gong za lo dong zhe wa jin ji lo nam dong wo wo ju gu song ba ye jie yuan ma ye jie yuan xia wa la man ga ru ban jie bi gong la guan de ye me do ba zhen ji lo jie wa gun de yong da la dan zhe me jue jie ba la lun ju jie sa da lam jie yun de ra zo ne de jie chang ge guan ba nyue do zhou do jie chang ge guan ba nyue 남시 신이 제조 저자 더 지동아서 남치 배나 남시도 시스야 된 추지 더다 배는 시바스야 디는 중요해 시바 더 남중아서 시비 남지야 된 전부 배나 하고 터바나 네스서 데스 가져다 배나 가져 샘 배나 로종 제열배 레라보 차노로다 차노에서 답변에 10억 코로나 남자로 시용도 가서 10억 벤다 넘버 2여서 되나로 벤 또바세요 동미세요 넘버 2 또바세 남정에서 받아 자동으로 집에 신뢰 시용도 벤나 동지 네 동도 신기 로직 자지 벤 동신기 지금 로직 요하다 너는 또바세야 되는 삼খিনি 전기 디자 시용으로 그렇지 또바세요 코로나 용변나 요 신기기 차지도 요는 미신기기 변나 차지 요로다 그러 요 신기 차지 당아서 남지 변나 지바세마세야로 용 몸보지 요다 변나 요 주다저로 자 신기기 변나 또바지 그러 디저 변 또바 채마서 요 다다다 용 변나 요 미신기 또바지 다 몸보지 요로 변나 그래서 네 자위 녀모 바트로 대다 탐지 요 자원이 시트고요 말 다가노기 변에 년년이 시세야 대소고 요 자원이 시트고 뭐 다가노기 변에 요 왔다다 내가 녀이 넘버 시바도 꾸인지 넘버 시에 봤어야 된다 그요 자원이 힘을 더 그냥 또 비차지 요로
So the topic of the treatise, the distinguishing consciousness from wisdom, the talk book of this is really finding out what consciousness and distinguishing it from wisdom. Now, with consciousness, basically what we mean are confused cognitions or mind or cognitions. And generally, if we can understand a little bit about the presentation or the descriptions of mind, then it makes it much easier to understand the explanations of mind and cognition. Generally, when we talk about mind, there are two different types of mind. There is thought, and there is the thought-free. Thought is cognitions that conflate sound and entities. So we have cognitions that know words and those that know the entities. And when we sort of conflate the two, then we have the cognitions that think about everything and know things. Now, within thoughts, there are different types of thoughts. Some thoughts know the object, and some thoughts don't know their object well. Those thoughts that know their object, such as external objects like form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and so forth, that's the one type of thought, the type that knows their object. These are what we call valid thoughts. Then there are those that don't really know their object truly. For example, like there are the six root afflictions. Don't see their object properly, or don't understand it properly. Or you've got the 20 secondary afflictions. Likewise, there is the afflicted mind and the ground consciousness, which are not able to truly see their object well at all.
那在今天的课题所讲到的是辨识智论，而在这当中所讲到的就是我们说心识跟智慧的分别。而我们讲到心识的时候呢，可以说是它是迷惑的心识，迷惑的认知。而如果我们可以清楚地了解我们的心所展示的部分，那这样我们更容易明白今天讲的这个课题。那在心识跟心的认知当中呢，在我们说这个心它当中有分是有心的念头，还有这种无念的这样的一个心。而在念头当中呢，它有包括我们的一种认知在当中，就像是我们说的这些智名词，还有我们对这些个体的这种概念，而当它们结合起来，就变成了我们的这个意，我们的这种认知，我们的思想。而在这个念头当中呢，有一些它是清晰的认知这个对境的，我们说的这种色受想行我们说的对不起，我们说的这个色声香味触等的这些对境，它是清晰的认知的。那我们说这样是一个有效的这种心念。那还有一种念头呢，它是没有办法清晰的认知对境的。那它包括就像是我们的6根本烦恼，还有20种的随烦恼当中呢，也是包括我们今天讲到的这个烦恼意。那这样的这些烦恼还有这个烦恼意呢，它是无法清晰的认知这个对境的。
답변은 동미 개는 시바 코로나용 배나 나바니요레스. 지금 동미 시바세에다 가르페나 요 안에 고바 진제도 살와페나 통도 개지 로직. 요 진제 사완 통도 요 엔쟁미제 요 파기 통도고요 뭐 하고고요 뭐라. 배나가로서 배로 여번에 미히게 족 통도 번에 배설부 찰람에 통도 개지 동미 시바세에 되는 증원지고 요레스. Tela yung pena yor topi ke pena chachik, yor ma topi pe chachik, tomi sheba tamba ni yores. Yor topi ke chate, tomi sheba te tatanga so pena gongi onshe ke pena yor zura choro zanga, ne to toku yora. Teta tami gongi onshe yor zura choro zanga tozi ke pena gongi onshe te tomi ke chaki yore. Taga nogi pena tonglam, ne komlam seya, teta soma tomi ke sheba roa. Ne pa daad me ba tong chik, ene tongi to ten trawa teta samchi, ene jenjia de sarwa de pena ngon sam tong togo yorwa, techi. Ta pena yor, tsawa ni ne ma to pa ha ma wo pe yon tongmi sheba karin resi na yon, nga so tata teso kya nan rewa ta. Kam kala nga so pena, on xin trawa duwa ta pena. On por jong xiong tu mi xie te ta pena, ne kon tongzi soma pena, sepon tong no khe chik, rwa, ta on no khe chik. Yung tata pena malam sang nong shiba, malam kapsa nga so pena malam ka nongwa xiang ke shiba jing do, teta tamji yung tongmi shiba ro. Ko tongmi shiba ro, te yor kong yo ko to toyo ma ha ko toyo ma ro. Ten rika rika namba ni yo res.
With thought-free cognitions, there are also two different types. There are those that are able to realize or know their object, and those that are unable to know their object. So thought-free cognitions are those clear cognitions that initially perceive an object and realize the object. For example, it's like when we see a form with our eyes, then it appears to us really clearly and distinctly. And these appearances, we can either realize the object or not realize the object. There are both of these. Like when we have a thought-free cognition that realizes the object, an example of this would be like when we see forms, sound, smell, taste, and touch, and so forth with our 5 sensory consciousnesses. They appear clearly to us without any thought. Another example would be in the paths of seeing and meditation. The wisdom of seeing and meditation is thought-free, and it clearly perceives emptiness, selflessness, and interdependence, and so forth. It clearly sees these and realizes them. Because of this, we realize emptiness. Now, there are also those where those thought-free cognitions that are unable to realize their object. For example, like when you have a sensory consciousness and there's some sort of a problem with your senses, like if you have got an eye problem or something, you have an eye problem and you see something that's white, you instead see it as yellow because of a problem with the faculty. Something appears, but you aren't able to realize it. Likewise, when you see something in a dream, it appears to you, but there's no object to be known, so it can't be said to realize anything. It's not able to know or realize any object.
那在无念的这样的心当中呢，也是可以分成2种，一种呢是能够认知的，一种呢是不能够认知的。那在能够这种认知觉知的当中呢，它有包括就像是我们说眼睛见到的这个对境，它会清晰的出现。那这种清晰出现的这种对境呢，那有的时候我们可以把它是认知到这样的一个对境，有时候呢是确实没有办法认知。那能够认知它的这个例子呢，就是包括像这个色、声、香、味、触等等这些我们说的五识，当它在我们的五识中清晰的出现的时候，那这样我们是能够认知这样的对境。那另外一种的认知在无念当中的这种认知呢，就是在我们说五道的见道跟修道当中的修持，可以清晰的见到空性、 因缘法、无我等。那能够清晰见到这些的原因呢，是因为已经证悟了空性。而不能够认知的这个方面呢，它可以出现在我们的五识当中。那举一个例子就像是我们的五根可能有一点问题，像这个眼睛，它是有这个色盲等等就是把像白色会看成是黄色等等，无法的清晰的这样子把这个颜色显现出来。那另外一种的例子呢，就像是我们的梦境那在梦境当中所出现的这些显现呢，它是没有真实的这个对境的。那所以呢，也在这里呢，也是并不包含这种认知。
当时搞是不的嘞，本来先爱弄的，那些什么伢们些搞起，那通过牛毛拉崩的牛毛没见，自己没伢们些就是，那得做的本来，他伢们些头发了，那这个那本来南些的本牛业的差的了，但牛业的他嘞本来啥级别的那。一些的个帮助个有的送巴罗，他的现在做的这送上，通过牛毛拉帮啊，这的，本来我说，通常人家一些个本来卡吃的嘞，那牛毛把本来查了，用做帮个有的是，他卡吃的就是做送的他的这送上，本来这个做的之后是这样了，那差别个本到下些弄得没控制。대동 대자마 집에 에네 도시에도 때모 공주게 박차도 집에 용조 봉로 요레스 아니 다 곰람 냠자 이게 칸논데게 베는 요모 차라 좀 봉로 요레스 다 칸논데 주디 다 요 앞에나 공잘 매네 네 베는 다도 집에 가도 집에 다 베나 공잘 매네 네 베나 도샤도 공조 해동 라소가 제와 요라 대다게 박차도 집에 요 대자마를 따라 녀의 그런 용 칸노 베나 꾸이게라 매네 네 다도 번지게로 딘디고 꾸인베나 녀의 그런 게 bomba자마지 그런 게 베나 박차도 제바 용수 베나 통함 공람게 네 본로고 요레스 대 본로도 카 베나 신노게 네 녀모 차라 초마 베나 통감 랍도 보네 녀모미제 세게메 숨바 다 녀모미제도 네 여기 베나 냠니 해 줄을 베나 탐로게 손제되다라 녀모 차라 공요 자원이네 세거요 말았어 대잠도 마시바 네 시발을 벤 징지게 네 통미 말아봐 네 용조바 봉사레스 답변에 신탈라 네 네겨 말았어 신탈 중앙에서 데려 소소 지부 베나 탈바장 타바장 뜻이요 소소 지부 탈바장 타블라 네 탐지 진비 베나 이시줄 마제 빈네 갑지 요로다 대주 시빈탈 네 뜻이요 대제기 베나 레우타르도 바 통도 시진일을 줘봤다 대시용 근데 소소용 안에 가서 베나 탈바 타바장 마시바 아니 로와 용서 법은 탈바 접지게 셴바 줄랑 아와들 시진일 만에 베시스 시용로 어 덴데게 베나 탑탑이 요래 숨바래
So we have come to the third of the five wisdoms, and so we're on page 5 again. We're in the second stanza from the bottom. The defilements are utterly eliminated on the paths of insight and meditation. The subsequent absence of defilements in the absence of samsara and nirvana is called the wisdom of equality. So the primary, the consciousness that primarily impedes us from achieving the wisdom of equality is the afflicted consciousness, or the defiled mentation in this translation. And this is eliminated on the 8th bodhisattva level, or this is eliminated by the wisdom of the 8th bodhisattva level. And so it is completely eliminated by the 8th bodhisattva level. Now, it is actually gradually eliminated over the course of the paths of seeing and meditation. So the path, the meditative equipoise of the path of seeing, the wisdom of that eliminates all of the afflictions, both coarse and subtle, that focus on external objects. So what that means is these are the afflictions that focus on external form, external sounds, scents, tastes, and touches. Touch. This is the greed, hatred, and delusion that is attached to these, as well as the imprints of this greed, hatred, and delusion. The wisdom on the path of meditation eliminates all of the afflictions that are directed inwards, all those that focus on an individual and say, oh, this is me, this is myself, my soul, and all of the greed, hatred, and delusion that arise toward that idea of self. Likewise, the seventh afflicted consciousness also focuses inwards on the ground consciousness. And so the afflicted mind and all of its imprints are eliminated entirely on the paths of seeing and meditation. Now, when this has been eliminated, then all of the afflictions, both coarse and subtle, have been entirely eliminated. And so, as it says, there's a subsequent absence of defilements and the absence of samsara and nirvana. So there are no more defilements or afflictions, neither coarse nor subtle. And also, it no longer dwells in samsara because it is free of the ignorance that would bind one to samsara. Likewise, it's free of nirvana in the sense of being of peace, in the sense that there is no longer peace here, or the peace here, or nirvana, refers to the individual nirvana of liberation for a single individual. Now, this liberation for a single individual it actually impedes us from achieving omniscience, and this is called the extreme of peace. In the Mahayana, we don't try to achieve this sort of peace, but instead we try to liberate not just ourselves, but all sentient beings throughout space, so that we achieve the nirvana that dwells in neither existence nor in peace. Inside or focused outside? Right, focused outside or focused inside? Right?
The one outside is eliminated in seeing.
Yes. And the others, the ones that are focused inside or delayed, are eliminated on the path of meditation.
现在呢，我们讲到的是第三种的佛智。那在文本当中呢，是中文是第11页，然后在这里讲到的是烦恼尽除于渐修，续后无烦恼轮业，此即为平等性智。那在这里我们说，什么是障碍我们证得平等性质的这种主要的障碍呢？那这个主要的障碍就是烦恼意，而对治这个烦恼意的，就是当证得八地菩萨的时候所产生的这种智慧这样的智慧。它会完全的去除这个烦恼意，而其实这个烦恼呢，它是渐渐在渐修恶道当中呢，它是渐渐的已经在被去除了，而当在 见到的时候所去除的是我们向外看的这个我们的这个烦恼呢，升起的烦恼是向外的这种烦恼，也就是对于外面的这个对境，如同是色声香味触等等这些对境，执着于它，专注于它而升起的这种贪心，我们说的贪嗔痴，这些烦恼以及这些烦恼的习气，在见到的时候的修持得到去除。而在修道当中所去除的是内在的烦恼，就像是我们说的这个我见我的因我而生的这样的一个烦恼。而这样的烦恼呢，它刚好对应的就是我们80当中的第70这个烦恼意。因为烦恼意呢，它是向内，它是关注着注意着我们的普基识，认为这样是我的这样的一个烦恼意。那当这个烦恼意在我们说经过见道跟修道之后全部被灭除的时候，就不会再有任何的烦恼升起，不管是粗大的烦恼还是微小的烦恼。那所以呢，在文本当中所说的是烦恼尽除于见修。那之后讲到的是续后无烦恼轮孽，所以这个时候呢，所有的烦恼都已经解脱了，已经没有了。那因此呢，让我们轮回的这样的一个动力，也就是这个烦恼它没有了，所以呢就不会再有轮回。而在这里的涅指的是涅槃寂静。而这样的一个涅槃寂静呢，它主要讲的是一种可以说是小乘的这样的一种寂静它是我们成佛的一种障碍。而在大乘的这样的修持当中呢，我们讲的不只是求自解脱，不是只有求自己的这种寂静，而是要让一切的有情众生得到解脱。那因此呢，这样的这种自解脱的涅槃寂静呢，也要去除。所以因此呢，是不住于轮涅当中。
다 냠니 시시스 주즈도 가서 공도 쉬바노 예레 베나가서 주유갑스 에네야 다기진 벤 냠바 공바스 답변을 로바 람진네 값스 소신으로 네벤 다기진 냠바 공바스 되다 때르다 소소라네 정원에 존네 그바 동아근 중게 네 하고 터바지 네디 동아근 중게 하고 터바자 많이 봐 네 동아데 자위게 탑벤 냠보 람땡 거로 대 년보 람츠지 말로 땜바 대 농지도 네 된지직 때부터 봐는 네 가서 다기 냠비게 네 가서 현도 자체 뭐 접하고요 레스 된지직 람네 갑대 답변은 리뷰네 가서 냠니 해도 그런 난 콘데 네 예미도 변나 시과서 다대히요 콘데 예미도 시과도 걸어와고 변 뇽데 지과 안바 따왔다 네 뇽데 된 걸어와 안바 지과 따왔다 그래서 됐다고요 말했어 네 콘데 니게 변 따와 콜바 벤다 다도 메바 또 뇽데 다도 메바 콜바 땡인 저완 좋아 또 뇽데 땡인 저완 좋아 다 너기 베나 콜바 동바니 또 뇽데 베나 동바니 바 아니 띵 찍바 찍종 메바 세용비 차직 용벤 냠니시 코노 주제 서비 그걸라 네 콜바 세야 되는 베나가 뇽데레 카가 체요 뭐로 콜바 용조 벤 뽕사 바로 딘리게 시직 지금 딱 안오조 조벤 대고로 마소 지동 동아 면도 바네 심지 요도죠 지과리 동아 면도 부zam라 마소 펜도 건 종토고요 말 동아르데 에네 면도죠 동아르데 메비게 탑시징에 바 조고고요로다 탑시데 가레스 수수베네 시자징 미세 시고고요레스 시자 가레 시고스도 다메비 따와 돈이 따와 땡르요 중 따와 대도지 히랍 소수줄라 마제 바르데 네 동아르 자완이 잘토고요 마 네 콜와 벤징지게 레뇨 자완 잘토고요 마 다는 이제도 손제동 배나 권조섬세 하종게 떡던 네바 첨보리 얘는 권조섬 그 배나 떡던 네바 첨보 간대지 있는 것은 로어리로 기줄라 네 배나 콜완 징지기 레뇨 매바 조 터고마다 춘 자원이 조 터고요 말스 나 수수 줄 배나 콜완 징지 레뇨도 매바 조바 조바로 공사 수수 시자 제바와지 맥스 시비 배나 시가도 줄제 숨바 때 매바 조 터고요 그랬어
대단 가서 전년이 시기에 가서나 코로나 년 예수 시기에 시거래 연 코로나 펑샤라지 동네 아 코로나 펑샤라지 디디소자 말이 그
세주도 따라 코로나는 배는 예배받는 코로나는 년대에 맞지 과 년대에 코로나 맞지 과 지과 많이 봐
가서 통보된 가서 다음에 또 Tadi ola de nyam yeshi de kazo kore. Ada tengan troyin sare. So the wisdom of equality, as I mentioned yesterday, the cause for the wisdom of equality is meditating upon the equality of self and other during the path of learning. It's also understanding the basis from which all suffering arises, and also knowing how to apply oneself to the path to remove that basis for suffering. And so if we are able to apply ourselves to that path, then we'll be able to realize the equality of self and others. And so during the time of the result, this becomes the wisdom of equality, which sees the inseparability of samsara and nirvana. But when we say that we see the inseparability of samsara and nirvana, this does not mean that we see samsara and nirvana as being exactly the same. Instead, what it means is that just as we see that samsara is emptiness, we also see that nirvana is emptiness. Just as we see that samsara is selflessness, then we also understand that nirvana is selflessness. Just as we understand that samsara is interdependence, likewise we also know that nirvana is interdependence. And in this respect, we see them as being the same. We do not see them, we see them as being the same in this respect, not as being the same in other respects. So primarily, when we all sentient beings want to be free, all sentient beings do not want suffering. But not wanting suffering alone is not enough. We also have to know the methods to remove suffering. So we need to understand what those methods are, and what we need to know to remove suffering is selflessness and emptiness and interdependence. And we can realize that all phenomena are the same in being emptiness, interdependent, and selfless. And if we realize this, then we can free ourselves from the afflictions and karma that bind us to samsara. If we do not realize this, we will not be able to free ourselves in any way. It's like even though the Buddha and the three jewels are extremely powerful, if we do not realize this, we will not be able to free ourselves. If we do not realize emptiness and selflessness, we will not be able to free ourselves from the karma and afflictions that bind us to samsara. And so in order to free ourselves from those, we need to develop the wisdom. It's everything before the path. That's right.
所以关于 平等性质就像在昨天我们提到的，当我们在有学道当中修持禅修这个自他的功德，在这里讲到的有学道呢，所指的是在无道当中证得无学道之前的这样的道地当中的修持。我们在禅修这个观察自他的这种功德，以及呢痛苦的起源，然后将自身呢处于这个道当中修持，而这个道呢是能够去除这个痛苦根源的这样一个道当中去修持，然后呢升起的是自他平等的这样的一种证悟。那当这样的修持最后得到升起的智慧呢，就是平等性智。而在这里讲到的平等性智呢，它所指的是轮回与涅槃是平等的。那但是这里的说的平等呢，并不是说他们是一样的，不是这样的一个意思。这里所指的平等呢，是指在证悟涅槃证悟这个轮回当中所有的法都是空性的，从而也是证悟了知涅槃也是空性的。那同样的来说，轮回一切的法是无我的，而涅槃也是无我。轮回是因缘生的，而涅槃也是因缘而生。所以从这样的一个方面来说，他们是平等的，但不代表说在其他的这种方面角度来说呢，它是平等的。那一切的众生呢，都不希望得到痛苦，那但是只是单单这种要远离痛苦的意愿呢是不够的，需要的是可以去苦的这样的一个方法。那这些方法是什么呢？就是修持空性、无我，还有因缘法的这样的一个法门。那通过修持证悟到空性、无我跟因缘法，便了知一切的法都是如是。那因为有这样的证悟呢，也可以让我们让我们轮回的这个业与烦恼当中得到解脱。那如果不证悟我们说的这个空性、无我跟因缘法呢，就没有办法从当中解脱了。虽然说这个三宝呢，它是有大威能但是如果我们没有这样的一种证悟呢，也没有办法从这个轮回当中得到解脱。那因此呢，我们要培养，要升起这样的智慧。
那天马特别一点呢，逐步这边这把的那边都是那么多人，点呢用到希腊东，就嘛到定制结束吧。提呢用这个做卡的那个有的是办的的，我说本来一些爱弄那边呢是一把手多是差有了，呢手多一些头发了呢，巴尔就这边南些的那个有的也是，巴尔这边南些。답변은 수도에서 네 바르도 주변 남시에 간다 정원 지그러서는 딱 가서 지동 가서 변 남시에 초지 저 가서 변나 남시에 가서 댄스 바로 와 뒤지용도 답변은 되래 변나 남시에 초록 되네 카츠데게 변나 남시에 자 약으로 와네 대변나 가르리 네 죽히스 힘으로 남주 죽비시 와서 카츠로 코나는 적도 비주고 죽비시 와서 तदापेना न्योई नंबर शेबातेयो दोशीशियोंदो काम कर दोबी शेबा को छिंजिलोन जिबिलो खादु येना पेना कुइकेला मैंने एन ताज ट्रबान जिबातो ओने कुइकेला मैंने ngaओ संबा कुइकेला मैंने छोद तावा कुइके मैंने तने पेना तकासे पेना ओ जुरखेचे तने जिनो रो तेलेने दोबी नंबर शेबास 아니 다다페나 कुइके 코로나 요페나 렘비 넘버 시바스 남주 시그레 코 렘비 넘버 시바 가르스나 페나 박자 장의 초마 육시ben 속로게네 박자 장의 초마 다가노기 녀이 기변나 그런 게네 박자 변나 영조 바고 변나 딱그 셉제노로 땡 코론을 땡 변나 땡 변 녀이 그게 될라 땡 그 초마 변 주노기 대사노사 차이로 텐데직 변나 지용도 콜라이네 가서 렘비 넘버 시바스 대시오레스 단디 갑된 변나 다다 술도 이제 콜라이네 바르주 변나 남시에 가래 야고스는 대마타고 이스야 대야고요 그래서 다 대마타고 이스에 그 넘버 니요래 변나 가서 주기에 속로 코론 그 변나 저르주비 네 대마타고 이제 주기에 속로 코론 변나 강마 타발라티 주기에 속로 그 변나 레데 바꾸게 된라네 변나 가서 셉쟁게 그용 변나 대마타고 이제 넘버 니요 그래서 딘디기 변나 이 대마타기 되는 건지고요 그래서
The next stanza reads, the immediate mentation is called the sustainer because it sustains the sixth consciousness. It is called thought because it gives rise to thoughts. It is defeated by true understanding or prajna and by the illusory samadhi. So here what this is teaching is among the five wisdoms, it's teaching discriminating wisdom, and what it's primarily teaching is which consciousness prevents us from developing the discriminating wisdom. So which is the consciousness? Well, among the 8 consciousnesses, as I mentioned yesterday, we have the 6 consciousnesses, which are primarily consciousnesses that focus outwards. They're called the engaging consciousnesses because they primarily only engage external objects. Then there is the afflicted mind, which is called the reversing mind. And the reason it's called this is because it is turning inwards and focusing, one aspect of it is turning inwards and focusing on the ground consciousness and saying, this is a self, this is me, this is superior, this is me. And so this is the consciousness that controls that, and so that is the one aspect of it. The ground consciousness itself is called the acquiring consciousness, and the reason it's called the acquiring consciousness is because all of the imprints created by the 6 engaging consciousnesses are placed or imprinted upon this ground consciousness. Likewise, all of the imprints of the afflicted mind or the defiled mentation also are placed in the ground consciousness, and so the basis in which they're all kept is the ground consciousness, and so this is called the acquiring consciousness. Now, primarily what prevents us from achieving the discriminating wisdom is the immediate mind. Now, with the immediate mind, there are 2 different aspects to the immediate mind. One of these is the aspect of the immediate mind that is the cause for the 6 engaging consciousnesses to arise. And the second aspect of the immediate mind is that immediately after the 6 consciousnesses cease, this aspect stores their imprints within the ground consciousness. And so this is what is meant by the immediate mind.
那接下来呢，是文本当中的下一个颂记。那在文本当中所说的是：无间亦又名持者，因其令6识为持，明念因其生心念，战胜彼者真知见。那在这里的这个真知见呢，所代表的是般若波罗蜜的这样的一种知见，以及如幻 山摩地。那在这里讲到的是我们说障碍正的妙观察智的主要的这个心识。那这个主要的心识是什么呢？就是在八识当中的第六意识，也就是我们说的这个意啊。那像昨天说的一样，这个意呢，它是主要是向外的，它是专注于外面的这种对境。那因此呢，这样的意呢，也是被称为是行缘识。而我们说的这个第七意识这个烦恼意呢，它也是可以说它有另外一个名字叫做相反的这样的一个意识。因为呢第六的意识是向内的，而第七的这个烦恼意呢，它是刚好相反，就是专注向内的，也就是专注于我的，而且认为呢我是最好的这样的这样的一个心识。而第八意识这个普基识呢，它也称为是摄受识或者是常识。因为在六识当中所升起的一切的行为、一切的造作呢，都摄受在这个普基识当中。而同样的，这个烦恼意呢，也是含藏在里面，所以呢，它有这种摄取的这样的功能，所以呢，称它为是摄受识。而主要障碍我们正的妙观察智的是我们说在这里称它为等无间意，也就是这个第六的意识等无间意。那在这里说的这个等无间意呢，它可以分成两分哦。第一分呢是它是六识的所生，因为它呢让这个六识可以升起。那第二个的部分呢，就是当这个六识的这个念头当它是消灭的时候呢，生灭，当它灭的时候呢，它也含藏在摄取在这个普基识当中。
对的，但这个对面的对的，那我说那些抽着。코로나 bên 주의에 다 남자 쉐로 bên 맥제 닥제 대마 탁제 주진스 남바 예 쉐요스 디갑dem 디갑ben 네 대마 탁제스야 네 주희에 조금 주희제라바 직차도르스 답은 주희 ben 남시 초로게 네 맥제도 파이 요르테리 죽다저로 르자 ben 추조데 남시 초로게 ben 맥제스 tam namshi tsukro ki pena tema thakje zondu namshi tsukro khoro pena jeji ke ni sheba pena kase kejing miche yoris tema thado namshi tsukro khoro je thogu yoris jeji tel tema thakje yes taben namshi tsukro ki tada tere thakje sidu pena thakje ombo chok ra pena make ombo nawi ombo je ombo luje ombo ye ombo te namshi tsukro thakje 답변은 남시 쪽으로 그런 거 주지 시험도 값을 때려 남시 쪽으로 그런 pen 주 년례 주 제도 현직제 주 차요로 대사담이 남시 쪽으로 pen 주지스 공지 pen 카스데 해봐 인사 유로 콜 pen 제지기 제예 네바도 고요스다 근데 주지 맥지 딱지 때마 딱지지 시험도 단디 값대 때마 딱지스야데 남시 쪽으로 pen 제지기 주 차책 대를 좋은 거 여러 지도 대마타게서 남게 쪽으로 콜 제지 제제 동요 남게 쪽으로 간로 비값을 요 바급된 가서 디 젤레 암 누바데 바꾸게 되는 양해 차적 여러 대인도 네 값된 비변 남게 쪽으로 제지 개변 대마타게 대를 공원 지고 여러
Now here something we need to understand is that with the six consciousnesses, Generally, they're presented as having four conditions. So these are the objective condition, dominant condition, immediate condition, and causal condition. So these are the four different conditions. So here, when we talk about the immediate condition, what we mean is one of those four conditions for the six consciousnesses. So when we talk about the four causes, the first of them is the objective condition. And this means the object. So this means everything, the form, sound, scent, taste, touch, and dharmas. And then the immediate condition for consciousness is the immediate cause that produces each consciousness. So it's the immediately preceding cognition that produces the consciousness. The dominant condition is the sensory faculties. So the six sensory faculties of the eye, the ear, the nose, tongue, body, and mind. And then the causal conditions are the substantial and cooperating causes for the cognition to arise. So when we have the six consciousnesses that focus outwards, they must have all four of these conditions present in order to arise. And so here, when we're talking about the primary causes to produce cognition, when the six consciousnesses cease, then immediately upon their cessation, then the power to produce those six consciousnesses is placed within the eighth consciousness. And so that is the immediate condition that produces the consciousnesses, and so that is what is intended here. Within the eighth consciousness, it's not the eighth consciousness itself. Okay. And also so the eyes, mind, eyes, those are the dominant condition. Dominant condition. But the causal condition is the substantial and the cooperating. As I talked about last night.
那我们要认知这个六识呢，我们要明白了知的是这个六识所升起的四缘，四种的缘。那这四种缘呢，它分别是因缘、增上缘、等无间缘跟所缘缘。那在这当中的这个所缘缘呢，所指的就是这个色、声、香、味、触、法等等的这些对境而当中的这个等无间缘呢，所指的是我们的心识可以说是马上升起的、无间断的这样升起的这种缘。而这个增上缘呢，所指的是像我们的这个我们的六根，像这个眼、耳、鼻、舌、身、意等等的这些六根。而这个因缘呢，所指的是让这个心识可以升起的主要的因，还有它的这个助缘。那所以只有当这四种的缘都具足的时候，这个心识才能够升起。那当在心识当中的这个六识，在它可以说是一个识灭了之后，在等无间马上能够升起的，它是依赖的是一种力量，这样的一种等无间的这样的力量，这种力量呢，就含藏在我们的这个8个意识当中。
that tema topi yi tene chubun ziba number dozi namdo inzo zo degi tata te tendo pena ngaron zoki ta tema takji siya te kare jayosina pena namshi tsogro te ne tseyi pen zugda tero rizal pa ne zimbar chege ta pena renge yore esko number dozi namdo inzo de mobo jege yon pena ngaso namji hero ta pena namdo to nyon moba zongdu namdo siya te pen toba khona la mombo chi kondo yoris pen te samke trenge chi loji la namdo siya te khona koye yo maris namdo siya te ko toba to tomi nik cha yo onji namdo siya te kha tside ki sheba konji pen marei pe ke li dabi ne tsiror ki pen zugda terror rizanga ne dembar nowa dembar zemba dembar shembe ke ene lo kanda je ina pena namdo chano yoresita pena tomi ki chala number toba yoris pena marek pe lepi onke pena kase yor zuta terror jala pen dembar nomi ki tomi shiba yorwa teda thamji pena teda hin reol pe malam sano shiba pen susu pen le lo long chalta malam sano shiba to tomi shiba ro teda thamji marek pe lepi onke kono no wa chomi pen dembar zin ro yorwa teda thamji namdo chano yoris mobo jega ngaso namdo judu jekpen samke tenge lo khona jekpen lo khalo te jibul koye yomaras namdo seya te ene khatse de kheba tada thamji ko cho yoras tada thamji ta ponja chi ten yonda shirab to juma ta tingzi je se to ta te hyonda ponji ki pen lam te yeso pen namhi chogro te ta ko ponja cha dora ponji ke she kare se ta te so shin ro se pen thonglam she ke jik juro nin도的信用了，同样是给记录。但地方情况呢，同样是给记录的菜呀，嘛的，同样可能变那，要不然些可能给变那看不上用么他们即刻帮着有了，但是就变那，但点把些嘢呢，吃出记录的呢，对这个变我上多了有了，变那没打吧，东儿可能吃出有，东儿没打，东当没事，那观众可能了觉得见到啥子，大脑也变那，高把可能高把希望讲那么严谨。lam koro lam rak dhruva nginji ki tada tam chikjar tongpi pina ishe teke ane pagi tada ane namshi tsogro ki jo tema sak che te ane pongro yo re esi te songsa pina juba tawi tingzi che songdo ta te xiong ta nga song korde ki chong tabchi juba tawi pina togo yo resa ta juba tawi judu kor tiro nongwa tsa ma to yor korong tena tsawa nida rongshi chi ma dropa te to song ta juba tawi to ziro enju pen konde ki chotam ji juma ta ri te na te mato onke te nga so pen namshi pen sam chondro yorwa pen konde ki chonde da tamji rongji de ma pa dembar ma pa soma pen ten ro wanjo ware do ten ro wanjo wan bi jumse ji ko rongji ji ma cha ro ko rongji ji chuba ji yen na ka si ten ro cha to ma ju je le to ba cha to yo man de zan de na ta ga no ji pen de ma se ki chote da na mang to pen thani la khona la ten pen na ya ya to yo tenyo kasi penduma tsega chundeda tamkiyan denpa chaw sunga na mayang to ne tani ka nabya pena loi nabya ya togo maro tenra yandu yana rongji ma chaw pa jima tawes te tobi ki pen chenpa dan thonglang kaya shi zo teki pondro re sumpa
So here, as it reads, the immediate meditation is called the sustainer because it sustains the sixth consciousness. It is called thought because it gives rise to thoughts. So when we talk about the immediate condition, then the six consciousnesses, which primarily focus on the external things, what causes them is when we think of things, when we remember things. We have all of our thoughts and our afflictions. Now, of course, when these are all thoughts, and it is called thought. And when we talk about, say it is called thought, then we say thought, and we think, of course, our regular thoughts, thinking about things, considering and evaluating things. But also when we say thought, we can define it a little bit more broadly. Perhaps we could say conceptual. And so when we talk about conceptual consciousnesses, it's not just thought. It also includes any consciousness that arises under the power of ignorance, that grasps at things as being, grasps at appearance, or as what we apprehend, or fixates upon truth. When we fixate upon things as true, then that is conceptual, or it is a thought. So normally, though we think of conceptual cognitions as only referring to thoughts, it actually can refer to non-conceptual, thought-free cognitions as well, because they can apply to, or because they arise under the power of ignorance. Like, to make it easy, if you think about the appearances in dreams, they might seem to be non-conceptual, but they're thought-free, but they can also be conceptual, because things appear to be true, and we grasp at them as being true. And so conceptual cognitions include not only our thoughts, but any of the cognitions that focus on external things, and these all need to be eliminated. And so what eliminates these is, as it says here, it is defeated by true understanding and the illusory samadhi. So the true understanding of prajna, this refers to the wisdom of the path of seeing. So there are the 16 moments of the path of seeing, at least described in the Hinayana, where the different aspects of the Four Noble Truths are seen. In the Mahayana, we talk about this path of seeing as seeing all of the nature of all three realms of samsara, all in a single instant. So seeing it in the same instant, seeing the different aspects of the truth of suffering, that it is impermanent, suffering, selfless, and empty. Or seeing of the origin, that everything is cause, origin, conditions, and productions. Seeing of the truth of cessation, that everything is cessation, Okay, so for the four aspects of the truth of cessation are cessation, peace, deliverance, and excellence. And the four aspects of the truth of the path are the logic, emancipation, and accomplishment. So these are the different aspects of the Four Noble Truths that are all seen in a single aspect. And so does this wisdom of the path of seeing, as well as the illusory samadhi. So the illusory samadhi is is the samadhi that realizes that all phenomena of samsara and nirvana are illusory. It realizes that they're just that they merely appear, but that the object is not naturally established on its own. So when we do not realize this, then our cognitions or our consciousnesses are confused. But when we realize that phenomena are not established by their nature, that they are interdependent, and then we see that they're not established by nature, and that they appear like illusory. And so we see that thus that all conditioned phenomena arises because of causes and conditions, and we see that all unconditioned phenomena are merely giving names and labels to different things. And so when we understand that everything cannot be understood by nature, the wisdom that sees this is the illusory samadhi. And so this is primarily the wisdom of the path of seeing. The 16 aspects.
Yes, not many questions, but the dream, it's conception.
You've got thoughts. It's the same word in Tibetan. But you've got conceptual and thought-free. Normally we think that thought-free cognitions are non-conceptual, but he's saying that they can be that they can be conceptual, even if they're thought-free, when they are focused on things as when things appear as being true, and we grasp at things as being true due to the power of ignorance.
Even in top three, it can still be conception.
Yes,
And the example is a tree.
like a dream. That's right.
Like a tree. Okay. And then the 16th aspect is the basically four.
The four for each of the four
For
truths.
each of the four truths. Okay.
那回到文本当中，他在这里呢讲到的是等无间意，又名持者，因其令60维持，明念因其生心念。那在这里讲到的这个等无间意呢，所指的是第六的心识。这个意识它是向外的，那而我们能够记得起我们的这种心念能够想起来记起来它。那在这里说它是明念，就是有念头这样的意思。那但是一般讲到这种念头的时候，我们可能会想到说平时我们的这样的一种心念，像是在思考问题，在思量事情的这样的一种心念。但是在这里的这个念呢，不只是包含这种平常的这种心念，它是所指的呢是包含一切由无明的这种力量而升起的一切的这种念头。那不管呢它是有念还是无念的这种念，总之是执着于这种对境显象，把它认为是真实所升起的一切的概念，一切的这种心念。那这样的一种这样的念呢，我们说是无念当中的这个无念，它也可以是有概念的。但是它也是由无明的力量所生，那就像是我们这个梦境当中这样的梦境呢，它是属于没有念头无念的，但是呢却有这个概念在当中。那所以呢在这里不只是我们向内的这种心念，也是包含了一切执着于外的，专注于外的这样的一种心念。那之后文本讲到的是战胜彼者真知见，以及如幻三摩地。那也就是说可以征服战胜这样的等无间意的，就是这个真知见，或者是说我们这种真谛跟如幻三摩地。那在这里讲到的这些真知见呢，说指的是见道当中所升起的智慧。那在小乘的佛教当中，这就是这样的智慧真知见呢，就是是圣谛。而在大乘佛教当中呢，讲到的是十方三界的所有的一切的真谛。那在是圣谛当中呢，把它细分为16形象，那当中有包括这个说苦集灭道，每一个谛中呢分成是4种。那在这里呢没有办法一一的把它列出来，那之后我会再把它告诉大家。那所以呢这些呢就是这个我们说的这个真知见的这个内容。然后在之后的如幻三摩地呢，也就是这样的一种我们说的证得一切的这种轮回的现象。我们说的这个对境呢，这些所有轮回的显象对境都是 无自性的。那因为不认知这样的一个对境这些对境它是无自性的，因此呢，我们的心识是迷惑的、颠倒的。因为也不认知这些对境这些现象呢是因缘而生，不知道呢这样的我们的这种心识的执着认知，它就像如梦幻一般。而我们的认知当中呢，所组成的就是对于这些对境所给予它的这种念头、这种标签等等所组成的。而认知这一点，我们的心识是迷惑的，这些认知是颠倒的，它本身就如幻象一般。这样的一个智慧呢，就是所指的这里的如幻三摩地。
디진다 조바 체톱 세스 동진 진바 nenjurbe xian daba tomba ton dynam kunde sheton lenam kunla thomepe namdo neyon jurba ne susur tobe shete sumbar tazote kare tenge resoban tata teten ro tapena sodo shes sodo she tobala ne dige mentu cho ne tata pena tematas pena namshe choro temata pongore sunwa ताते जो ताते तेसों जोबा छेटोप से सुंदो ताते तेसों सा पने साजेबिक ने इशे ताते यो पने न्योई ते ने साजेबा ने जावा ने ठुंजी चिन रो यो रे सों ताते सों सा पने मेजे पे इशे जो ताते रे पने दांजी कोंजी छारा यो जोबा ने जावा नि ने पने मेजे बा ने साजेबा ने जो थगो यो रे सों बा ताते पों रो यो साजेबी इशे konji pene takpa sasamla yor driba tsawa ni yor marasina yor pene shirib chamo yor es ta pene lo yung owo chiwe ki pene ane driba tong nyong mubi ki pene driba tong taga no nyong mubi pene dribi ki paksha tada yung soba titi pondro esumba tongji ziba nen yor na sunde tata te sonsa sa jepi kapsu tini pene nen yor ungo zongiro kari nen yor gorsida tata pene tema takje te pa nyembo pone ane te surdo eshe ngondu chwala pemisike ane ngondu chwala ane pena ngo zongyo re songbasa na shen takpa nomba tongsunde ta teson jidonga su pena muboji sinkham ziyade ane sonje gyuksi pena sajan roji gogo ro muboji longor de xiaodo te pena sinkham ziyade anje mi sonje gyuksi sajaje lo gogo yo mar sonje ziya kanre ngonji gorsen sonje tujuru chimbe shi zo ten ngonji giro sonje 그 투준 진배시 가와네 베네시 이게 대다담 신감차로 베 sonje 그 구속로 대다담 신감차로 시행의 다과동 받는 손도 다다 대송서 아니 딘디기 베나 베나 냠니 시에테 아니 주제 소만 주자 대다 탐지 아니 베나 신지 말로게 아니 다 가서 람 동동거 요레스 대zam도 마시비 뒤남근도 시동송도 다서 내 마음은 다다 섬제네 베나 가서 따뜻대로 따와 다도메 봐 돈이 돈 땡진다 완조와 다가 너희 론도 남친이 말로 봐 용서 봐변 돈 타고 이래 예수 봐
So continuing on the top of page 6, when the great patience, or you could say the great forbearance, is attained, due to the transformation of the perceived and perceiver, there is a manifestation of pure realms, of the wisdom of all times, and of total unimpeded activity. The thoughts are transformed into discriminating wisdom. So when the great patience or the great forbearance is attained, what this is primarily talking about is the discriminating wisdom. And what is the primary impediment to discriminating wisdom is the immediate mind. And so this immediate mind is eliminated when the great forbearance is attained. And this means the wisdom of the 8th bodhisattva level. This is the level when the afflicted mind can be entirely eradicated. It's also the level where all ego clinging, whether coarse or subtle, can be completely eliminated. So even before then, there may not be any manifest ego clinging, but even through the levels, the bodhisattva levels before them, there still are all of the cognitive obscurations, and as well as the subtle the subtle cognitive obscurations and the afflictive obscurations and their imprints. And so it is from the 8th bodhisattva level that the transformation begins. And so that at that point, the immediate mind is eliminated, and the discriminating wisdom begins to be revealed. So here it says there is a manifestation of pure realms. And when we say pure realms, normally we think of a pure realm as meaning some other place where Buddhas live. But that's not what we mean by the pure realms here. Actually, what we mean by the pure realms is the wisdom of the Buddha. And that wisdom of the Buddha, where does it reside? It resides in the Buddha's kayas, in the Buddha's body. And so that's the Buddha's wisdom that we refer to with the pure realms. And so this develops the wisdom of a total unimpeded activity. At this point, the Buddhas gain the wisdom to be able to teach the path properly and without mistake to all sentient beings. And the Buddha can do this in all 3 times, in the past, in the present, and the future. The Buddha is able to teach all of them, all beings of the 3 times, how to meditate upon selflessness, egolessness, the selflessness, emptiness, and interdependence.
那接着在文本当中所说的是，当得正悟大忍时，能知所知转化故，30智慧境界现，全然无碍之事业，所知能知之心念，转化成妙观察智。那在这里讲到当正的大忍时，那在这里主要讲的是这个妙观察智跟障碍正的这样智慧的这样主要的障碍就是这个等无间义。在这里讲的这个正当正的这个大忍辱或者大忍时呢，是在八地菩萨这样的正的这样的这个八地菩萨时呢，所有的一切的这个烦恼意呢，都得到净除，而我见我执，不管是粗大的还是微小的，一切的这些我执呢，都已经得到净除。而在正的八地菩萨之前的，在这样菩萨的这个道地当中呢，虽然他并没有这种我执但是呢，还有这种所知障以及呢有的包含有这种微小的这些烦恼的习气。那在第八地呢，这些所有的心念呢，所有的我们说执着的这些心念完全的去除了，然后妙观察智就升起。然后在这里讲到之后提到的是境界。那当我们说到这些境界，或者是我们说清净的刹土也好，我们通常想到的是某一个地方是佛所住的这样的一个地方但其实这里并不是这个意思。那这个境界呢，所指的就是佛的智慧。我们说佛在哪里呢？佛就在佛身当中而佛身呢就是所指的这里的这个智慧。那之后文本说的是传然无碍之事业，能知所知之心念，转化成妙观察智。 那在这里说的这个传然无碍的事业啊，所指的是佛陀能够无误的教导佛法于一切的众生。那而且不只是一切的众生，而且呢是在任何的时间。那在这里30所指的就是在过去、现在、未来，佛陀都能够无碍的、无误无碍的教导一切的众生佛法。而给予的佛法是什么呢？也就是这个无我的佛法，无我空性，还有因缘法的这样的法。
le nam kun la tho me nam to ne yong chirpa ne so so to be she te son da te son sa le nam kun la tho me ba sun de sonje ke pena ta ne chile te son ran pena zeba zen sonje ke ne chagle ro de ne pena le shi jong ra nam ba ye ne te tho ba me ba sun ta pena shi jong ra nam ba ye zo te xiong do shi wa xiong de nga ro zo pena donga ke jo ne khori jo ne pa sirthap lam yo da ba kande ji ko ko sting na ya che khi je ba ju de pena dongar dong khori gi jo ta ga ji nga so ta me ba cha so yak bun do sam ba chang ko me ba cha no ma wa nge bar de pen nyem bo ji ten do nyem bo tan da me be ne ta wa ton ene ton ni gi ta wa ten ro ban ju ta wa de da cho ene kande ji pen nga so compare ton do sting na ya che chi onde de de son sa ta pena tindi ki nyembo su su ju je swan ne so so pena sam la rong de wa la rong tindi ki pen themo ma chi chu lep tho ro ta chabo si de zo de son sa pena ponza ne le nyo cho de do khosu ku ne pa ne nyen sin ro de ke dongar don ne khori ke ne ka se pena ne kande je ge yo ba nyen si shu si kande je yo ba 되게 년보 가서 시 아니 년시 휴지 간다지요 봐. 년보게 시세다 군 тө모 많이 빈 년시도 휴지 체반 파송도 파이 동아제지도 코와 제지게 레뇨요서 매바 좋다고요. 딘데게 남기야 땡도 빈 공자데 아주 빈 쪼와 제그로 오 땅에로 나로 되게 아니 주고 송와나 니게 빈 코와 제지도 아니 동아제지게 레뇨 오니 매바 좋다고 놓았어. 아주 빈 짐시도 아니 아 가져다 빈 딱지 지는 수수 줌세에 하고 때 동도 숨만 어성에 대줍디 페나 조안로 제토그로 다가마도 줌세에 동안에 되게 페나 돈다로게 용다바지 하고 마선 니 직전에 지해다 반다 간다지나 선수 수수 페나 로용 태상직 제거요 대송사 남도 내용 줘봐 내스 다들 손 되게 다 페나 레뇽이 친구한테 녀보래 가서 용서 페나 주지용도 레뇽에서 뽕으로 tene pe xiang zhong zhe su su do bei xie se da zuo tene ji gu ben na ye xiao lo da za ko pa yi ro ne ta de ma ta yi de nian bu ne ta da sa ji bei xie de da pa en jiang de ga se tene su su do bei xie se ya de ju jie ge re se
So there's the manifestation of all the wisdom of all times and of total unimpeded activity. The thoughts are transformed into discriminating wisdom. And so here there is the total unimpeded activity. So this is the activity or the deeds or the work of a Buddha. It's the 4 types of activity. The 4 types of activity are the peaceful, enriching, magnetizing, and destroying. And so these 4 different types of activities, the first is the peaceful activity. And this is knowing properly the methods of how to eliminate the causes of suffering. The second is the enriching or the increasing activity. Now just knowing that we can eliminate the afflictions, karma and afflictions is not enough. We actually need to be able to develop the antidote within ourselves, and that antidote is the view of selflessness, emptiness, and interdependence. So this is knowing how to increase that antidote. And then the third of the 4 activities is enriching or gathering control over it. And so it's when we develop the antidote within ourselves, then we gain control in our mind over the antidote, and we gain control over our happiness. The fourth type of activity is the destroying activity. And so this is when we have the wisdom that knows how, through our meditation, we can completely destroy the karma and afflictions that cause suffering. It is knowing the level of power, or capacity of our wisdom, and how to use it to eliminate the karma and afflictions. And so when we understand this, then we develop real enthusiasm for our practice and enthusiasm for the activities. We think to ourselves, oh, I really can eliminate karma and afflictions. I can really can eliminate what the karma and afflictions that produce the suffering of samsara. When we understand the reasons for that and understand the meaning, then we are excited about it. When we don't understand the meaning or understand the reasons, then we just start to think to ourselves, well, what's this? And we don't realize, really, we have the doubt of not knowing what it is. And so at this point, then our thoughts are transformed, and we eliminate all of the karma and afflictions that bind us into samsara. The wisdom that does this is primarily the discriminating wisdom. And the way we develop it is by overcoming the immediate mind that is primarily the capacity for placing imprints within our beings. And once we do that, then we are able to develop discriminating wisdom within ourselves. It's to gain control over the antidote.
Gain control of the antidote.
Over the antidote and gain control over our own happiness.
And then, affection. That's to
afflictions. The fourth is the destroying, which is to overcome the afflictions, karma and afflictions that produce samsara.
What about the third one?
The third is the second. Would be, you've got the first is the pacifying, second is the increasing or enriching.
Yeah. Oh.
This is different words for this.
I see. Yeah.
那所以呢，在文本当中讲到的30智慧境界线，传染无碍之事业。那在这里讲到的事业呢，是讲佛陀的行仪佛陀的这些事迹或者也可以把它分成佛的4种事业。那么这4种佛的事业呢，它可以分成是这个息、增、怀、诛这4种的佛的事业。而在第一种的息业当中呢，是去除这个痛苦以及去除痛苦的因。那在增业当中呢，只是去除痛苦呢是不足够的，还要升起这个对治的这些法门。这些对治的法呢，就是空性、无我、因缘法。让这样的法呢，在我们的内心当中可以升起，让这个快乐可以增长。那息增之后呢，是怀业，而怀业呢，就是可以控制我们的这个心念，而且呢，可以控制这种对治的法。那而诸业呢，就是升起这种智慧的力量可以完全的运用这些对治的法呢，来去除业与烦恼，一切的业与烦恼， 可以通过智慧的力量来净除，可以来行持佛陀的事业。那当我们了知这4种佛行事业它的当中的内涵的时候呢，可以说是真正了知正悟，成为一种行佛事业的这种动力。那我们平常可能会想到说，我们没有这样的能力来去除这个因果，没有办法去除业与烦恼。那一旦当我们了知这佛行事业当中的这种含义呢，会升起这种可以说是非常的兴奋、非常高兴的这样的一种感受。那而当我们不知道的时候呢，就是心中就升起种种的怀疑，不明白当中的意识是怎么样。那总之是之后就像之后文本当中所讲的这种能所的这样的能所知的这样的一个心念呢，它就转化成为妙观察智，而让这样的情况出现的呢，就是把这种主要的障碍，这个等无间义完全的去除，然后呢就会升起这种能够转化心念的妙观察智。
시와스야도 대와스야데 하중그 가르침을 차요레스 네 근데 시와스야데 대와스야데 동보네 근데 저버 제발 아니 되게 멘투송에 뭐 하고 요로다 근데 메데와 시야데 그거 요스 메데오스야데 그 주제제로 되는 중거 요로 디 주제 등에 바로 하고 또한 니들 가서 근데 시와스야 대와스야데 접토고 요로 다단도 아니 다단가서 배나 지소 논라이 배나 다 초과 좀 배나 시대 초과세야 쪽 어디다 벤 잠블랑 제가 과와과와는 rollo를 배나 거기서 손듯이 당하로서 배나 코레코로 아니 시대 고군도다스 대고서 딘리게 배나 시대고 종란지 다시 됐어요 거기서 가는 거죠 저 배나 제가 벤 논펜을 배나 망촉 매봐 잠블랑디 제가 뭐라 뭐보제 대달라 배나 망촉 매봐 딘리게 거기서 탑시지요 지동변의 망종매바 야보리 망종매바 장르변의 시대 차토고서 때 차토고요 뭐고 다 시대스야 되게 도서되는 메데브스야 차 메데브스야 저 조카를 때좀 수수주류 변의 샘트로와도 제 아니 카츠되게 시바 남도 뇽모바 때되는 중고요 대수수고 변의 아니 가서 판느바 매바서 마라바 컨트롤지 마타바는 아니 잠블은 시대 준트야 퍼자 네 수수게 지소를 빼는 코리옥대를 빼는 수수 예고를 코리옥대는 시대 중토고요. 대자마지 수수는 농촌을 빼는 시대 중토고요. 말스 대자마지 공사 수수 빼는 시대 중토고입니다. 공사 수수 빼는 시대 중토고 공사제게 네 지소 시대 중토고요. 말스 대자마지 잠블라인데 제가 용접 시대 중토고 말봐. 또 띵년바도 하고 그랬어 수수. 대와스 빼나 동 빼나 대위기 도서 동을 메데브스야 조카를 땐 정도 봐. 그때 수수기 줄변 샘트와도 네 남도도 뭐 코나를 땐 정도. 대수수 여보지 컨트롤 지트반 하는 오늘 시대 준트고 이러다.
It's like in our world we say that peace and happiness are very important. So what is, when we say that peace and happiness are very important, then we also need to understand what its opposite is and what causes its opposite. So the opposite of peace and happiness is discomfort or unhappiness. And that comes from causes and conditions. If we understand those causes and conditions, then we will naturally be able to come to peace and happiness. And so peace and happiness are very important. We can see this in our society. There are many organizations that are devoted to peace. We have international organizations that are devoted to peace. But generally, when we talk about peace, then people understand this as meaning there being no war or conflict in between different countries. And yet, there merely being no war in between different countries is not in itself a guarantor that there's going to be actual peace and happiness. If we're going to have peace and happiness, then we need to eliminate its opposite, which is unhappiness. And so in order to eliminate that, we need to know what the causes of that are, which is the confusion in our mind. It is all of our thoughts that are focused externally, and the afflictions in our mind. Unless we can decrease their intensity or power and eliminate them, then we will not be able to eliminate all of the conflicts in the world. Unless we can decrease them, then there will be no way that we can bring peace and happiness even to our to the areas where we live. And forget about bringing the peace and happiness to the areas where we live. We won't even be able to create peace within our own families. Not only will we not be able to create peace within our own families, we basically will not have peace within ourselves. If we don't have peace within ourselves, how can we bring peace to our families and to our countries and to the world? And so we need to understand what the opposite of peace and happiness is, and that is unhappiness. And what is the cause of that of that unhappiness? It is all the confusion and the afflictions. Until we are able to gain control over our thoughts and our afflictions, we will not be able to bring ourselves peace.
那我们经常说这个平静与快乐是很重要的。那既然是很重要，我们要了知怎么样得到这样的平静跟快乐，它们的因是什么。然后呢，也是要知道它的这个相反的是什么。那跟这个平静与快乐的相对的相反的就是不舒服跟不快乐。那而这些一切呢，都是因缘而生的。如果我们可以了知它产生的因跟缘，那这样呢，我们自然的就会得到平静与快乐。那在这个世界上面呢，有很多的祖籍甚至是国际的这种祖籍，他们呢都是专注于这个和平当中的。那当我们讲到这种和平呢，我们往往想到的是国与国之间的这样的一种和平。那但是只是国家与国家之间没有战争并不代表说人呢，国家的人民呢就拥有这个平静与快乐。那所以我们去了解这个相反的也就是不快乐，那它的这个因是什么呢？那不快乐的因是来自于我们的这个迷惑的心，我们这种一直往外看的执着的这样的心，我们心中的这种烦恼，那这些呢是不快乐的因。那如果人的这种心念没有办法可以得到转化的话呢，那世界就没有办法去除世界上面的这种争执了。不用说世界了，甚至是我们住的这个地方也没有办法得到真正的这种和平快乐。甚至不要说住的地方，我们的自己的家就没有办法得到和乐，而连我们自己本身也是没有办法得到这种平静与快乐。那所以如果是连我们自己都不平静，自己都没有快乐，我们又怎么样可以给予我们的家快乐跟平静呢？我们又怎么样可以给予我们的国家，我们住的地方这种平静与快乐呢？那所以只要我们的心识还是迷惑的，烦恼就会升起。 那就永远没有办法升起这种平静与快乐。
다 대다래 신이 본데 곰바 다바 시제라 메네시도 잠바도 투지 된신 코로나라 나초고도 송동지 추친 용지健康용 등지 존나 꾸인지 때 롱주저고 시주 송바 다 되게 저 댄자 가래 땡거 여러 시반다다 네요 그나 술도 시도 냠예 시 남바니 땡거 여러스 다티 송사 대다의 신이 본데스 곰베 다바 시게라 주디 페나 소도의 신냠니에 로바 람지 내가서 로안데 데페나 네 세미게 페나 냠바 곰바 동제 네 론도르 람페나 진짜 말로바 템바 주텔네 종거여로 대정도 따다페나 롱주 조그때 조페나 냠니에 해도 소도의 시 남바 그 제와 얘기요레스 따테로 손쟁아서 쭈비가 시용라 페나 제동 오니 그 네 롱고 쪼고 주디 페나 zuko 남바 니 시용라 디노 롱주 조고 요송사 메네히도 잠바도 빠다 세게라 메네피페나 냥데 투비아 텔라 네페나 따다 따테레 로발람 네고스 페 세미제 페나 냐바르도 아니 냠레치 그래 송사 투지 된제 코로나라도 페 손제지 지로 벤자와 닌지 첨부 당니로 손제 요도죠 인나가로도 페나 롱주 조고 때다게 아니 페나 아니 추텐사데 특제 법어 코나마도 아니 수수지 올라 고소 추 땡 톱거요 말 가르디는 수수지오데 누 땡거요 말와 대지용도 변나 가서 수수지오 써야돼 네 저도 변 손제 샤르제도 주비거에 변나 샤르제 아니 추 송토거 마도 롱주조 군되는 변나 롱주조 샤르제 추 변나 예야가 아니 고갑 토거요 말 대수종으로 전나 공장가 수수지오 수수로 레데봉 같은 토요 말에서 좋은데 송사 나초 그 고동 송동 받을 변나 롱주조 그런 신인가 된 시용으로 꿍엠바, 송엠바, 두영엠바, 코르엠바, 대기용 두영엠바로와 답변은 꿍엠바도 가서 배나 오미네 코나를 교주 배나 숨지서상게 양다데 오미네 코나도 힘으로 옛날에는 산이제를 타제도 해봐 그것에 때 고고요 말로와 손지 육사지데 되지 송엠바도 다스도 때 배나 롱주 조그게네 추송도가 특지게 배나 추 코나 송거요레 가 팅메이 좀 메송 버베스나 메송 버에는 소나 파이 두자데달은 투투고요 말씀 두자 소나메로 다 수지적으로 통해로 가시 토나 되지온데 그래서 은혜 토도고요 말에서 송사 두용에 봐주도 다다 두 그러와 마동하지 말도록 하다 지수 송사다 추지용지健康人就 다다 지수 송사다 근데 추천보도 다다 라나메 비게 예시 로와 라는 메비 시에케나 나타봐 그래서 딩지 존은 거기 때도 돼 메디비 상탑다 봐 로와다 메디비 상 쳔바페나 다 가서대로 요도 조페나 메디비 상도 가서는 선데 템비 시에서는 뒤수고 통통통통 지스펜 진로야 지로 대다 많이 봐 네 롱주저 그 시에서 주스 뻔나 땅에 녜방아데 짓고서야 조때 땡서 대다 탐지 다다페나 냠니 해도 수도 시에 남발서 롱주조 거의 남발 제와 얘기요레스 수도에 냠니 해서 로발람니 내가 수변나 세미je 콤바통 안에 두자 남라 론도르게 벤 신제 말로 템비 주지진 소 토그레 되는
The two wisdoms of equality and discrimination are a peace due to pure meditation which does not reside in samsara and nirvana. They are the power of possession of love and compassion, or they are the possession of love and compassion, a manifestation of various bodies, the giving of teaching to retinues, the occurrence of a mandala of the great Dharma melody. Actually, it should be the Dharma Dhatu. An occurrence of the melody mandala of the great Dharma Dhatu, and a treasury of all samadhis and dharanis. This is named the Sambhogakaya. And so here, this is discussing the two types of wisdom, the discriminating wisdom and the wisdom of equality. And these arise out of the practice of the four immeasurables and teaching correctly what is to be, what one should do and what should not do while on this path of learning. And so this is a peace due to pure meditation, which does not reside in samsara and nirvana. And so there are the different bodies of the Buddha, and this in essence is one of the form bodies, the Sambhogakaya, which does not dwell in either peace or existence. And this is primarily because of meditating upon the practice of the four immeasurables during the path. Now, so this is the possession of the love and compassion. All Buddhas, of course, are the essence of, are love and compassion in essence. And the Dharma that they teach is the manifestation of various bodies and giving teaching to retinues. They teach the Dharma of the Mahayana. And they teach this not to ordinary individuals, but to other bodhisattvas. The ordinary individuals are taught by the Nirmanakayas, the Sambhogakaya, but they're not able to hear Dharma from the Sambhogakaya. And the reason why they're unable to hear the Dharma from the Sambhogakaya is because they have not overcome their karmic obscurations. So the Sambhogakaya has 5 different types of certainty, and among these there is a certainty of body, the certainty of speech, the certainty of retinue, the certainty of time, and the certainty of place. The certainty of place refers to the level of akanishta, the pure realm of akanishta, but it actually doesn't mean a physical location. It means the realization of akanishta, and the body. And the body is the Sambhogakaya, which only teaches the Mahayana Dharma. The Sambhogakaya does not teach the Hinayana Dharma because the disciples who are appropriate to listen to it are not on that level. They are unable to hear it. And the time, the certainty of time, is from now until samsara has been emptied. This is the giving of teaching to retinues. And so the occurrence of the mandala, the great Dharma's mandala, means that the great Dharma of the great Dharmadhatu means that that they have achieved mastery over the unexcelled wisdom. And a treasury of all samadhis and dharanis. The dharanis here means in particular the power of the power of retaining or of photographic memory, of remembering everything perfectly. It's not like our memory. When we remember something, we remember it for a short time and then we begin to forget it. This is remembering it perfectly forever. And so the body that has all of these qualities, the 5 certainties, is the Sambhogakaya, and it arises from meditating upon. And it has the aspects of the discriminating wisdom that arises from the meditation on the 4 immeasurables, and also from teaching what should be done and not done properly along the path. That's the level of akanishta, or the pure level of pure land, one of the 4 realms. Below none. The none higher.
The highest realm.
Yeah, the highest realm of the 4 realm.
The highest of the 4 realm.
It's like a pure realm.
And also, you mentioned about something about a Dhamma or something.
Oh, the occurrence of the mandala of the great Dharma melody should be the occurrence of a mandala of the great Dharma Dhatu.
Dhamma Dhatu.
There's a misprint in the Tibetan that they were working from. I'm sure it's just a typographical error in that they translated it wrong.
I see, so it should be Dhamma Dhatu instead of the Dhamma sound. Dhamma Dhatu. And you talk about the memory that remembers everything.
It's the dharani. Here it says the samadhis and dharani, so dharani refers to
Refers to that.
那接下来在 文本当中所说的是妙观察平等二智，乃寂静从静禅生，不住轮涅之禅定，具足慈心与悲心。那在这里所讲到的平等性智跟妙观察智这两种的智慧，那它所生成它的因呢，是通过修持事无量心，以及如法无物的教导，这个取舍之法，在有学道当中，这个取舍之法的这样的无物的教导所产生的这两个因。然后在这里呢文本当中所说的是不住轮涅之禅定，具足慈心与悲心，化现各种诸身相说法教授诸眷属。那在这里所说的化现诸身相呢，所指的是佛的这个色身也就是佛的报身。而这样的一个佛的报身呢，它是不住于轮回与涅槃当中的，而且呢也是从事无量心当中所生的这样的一个报身。而这样的报身呢，它是教授诸眷属的佛法，而所说的法呢是大乘的佛法。那但是呢，只有菩萨可以听到，而凡夫呢是没有办法听见的。那这是因为呢，凡夫那还有这种业障没有被净除，因此呢听不见佛报身的这个说法。而在这里佛这个报身的说法呢，有5种的圆满，有这个身圆满眷属圆满、处圆满等等的这5种的圆满。而说法的地方呢，是在色界天当中最高的这个天，这是这个处圆满的这个处呢，所指的是色界的最高的天。而这里所说佛呢，所只讲教授的只有是大乘佛法，而没有小乘佛法。这是因为呢小乘佛法的行者呢，他还没有这样的证悟可以在这样的一个法界当中、境界当中来听闻这个大乘的佛法。在之后的中文所写的是现大法音曼达拉，那但是呢是原来的这个藏文它有一些的错误，所以呢这个英文跟中文的翻译也是翻译成法音，但是应该是法界，所以应该是现大法界曼达拉，而不是法音。之后的是三摩地与陀罗尼。那在这里的陀罗尼呢，所指的是能够记起所有的一切的这样的一种能力，而不是我们平常所说的记忆呢，我们只是能够记得片段，而是完整的所有一切的这样的一种记忆。那之后的文本所说的是所有聚集、持、保护，是为明佛报身也。那总之就是这样的一个智慧妙观察智、平等性智，它就是呢从这个事无量心的修习，以及从无物的教导，在有学道当中的 这个取舍之法所升起的这样的智慧。
So, are there any questions?
那大家有问题吗？那在这里之前堪布讲到的这个16形象，就是四圣谛当中的16形象。16形象呢，就简单的说，它包括是苦谛的无常、苦、空、非我；极谛的因、业、生、缘；灭谛的灭、尽、妙、离；跟道谛的道、如、行、出。这总共是16个形象。
Thank you, Khenpo. Yeah, we talk about 10 levels and 5 paths, and Buddha's 5 wisdoms, and they also talk about the 6, 7, 8 consciousness. Yeah, can we make paragrams like join to compare where they function each other, so make it direct understand. Is possible? Thank you.
This stand sa chut lam nga sanji yi sing nga ane ka zo nam shi chok chok da chok chen ba ane chok ge ba de drama la mang bon song do stand cha san de ka zo dom zha wa shi de ka zo go de bo che ge de nan ge pension gi da zhe zu de kan de dom zha wa shi che tu gi ru be dom zen ka ka zo de ka zo de nam shu zhu de le is da de ka zo de la yi xin a de zhe shi de de che tu gi ru na
da so sina re
re sana de
re jidun te ro ta pe na nga so number shi ba cho ji zo xin ro de na ba shi ba cho ji zo de su su ji yu ge ju le bi ne pe na ta shi ba de da xin ro pe na ta da de re ne lam nga sa ju xin de su su ji yu ju le bi cha je ne phak bi gong za ge ju le bi cha je song je ge ne tu ju le bi cha je de xin ro pena lamga hyongdu chonglam do jolam de ko su su ji o khone gi jula yo ro pena thonglam do gomlam se ya te ena phagbi gi jula yo bare ta pena song ma je bi ka sa song ji kompo ma tho phagbi ji khona lo yo ro daga no gi pena melob lam hyongdu ta pena tikhe melob lam du song je phagba khona gi jula yo ro ta pena ji do sa ji hyongdu ko le la ore pena sa ji hyongdu ko sa dombo de khona ji bu pen thonglam gi yo ro tikwa chim khona hi yo ro sa nipa ne sumpa yipa ngapa tukpa tenpa jepa gupa chupa tu tsama gomlam chadre ko digi chebar kare se de pena gomlam khonong ke pena ya gompen rovi ke pena jaja ten sen ro yoro da sa nipa sumpa yipa tu de pena gomlam khonong ke pena loi ya kata gompen song nyutop ya pervi ke chane sen ro yoro di jiong da nga so namshi chokji se ya de mocho ko kase truwi ki cha de ro bena malai pe ke leba hyo na ke no atam chi ko demba no no ke yo kha ke ben zin dong yo ben da de traba no ne demba traba zin do ke cha ko ji ben truwi ki sam khona cha de ro tin truwi sam ji khona de nyembo kare ko se ta ben lam nga na ti cha yaw sap ji lam nga ti cha da se yo ro.
So the 8 consciousnesses are the mind, the different types of mind or cognition for an ordinary individual. Then when we talk about the 5 paths and the 10 levels, The 5 paths are for any sort of individual. There are paths for ordinary individuals and for nobles, bodhisattvas before they become Buddhas, and paths for Buddhas. The paths for the ordinary individuals are the paths of accumulation and joining. Then there are the paths for the noble individuals, the bodhisattvas who have not yet achieved Buddhahood, and these are the paths of seeing and meditation. For Buddhas, there is the Mahayana path of no more learning, and this is the path of a Buddha. And so these are the 5 paths. The 10 levels are the 10 bhumis in Sanskrit are really easy. The first level is the Mahayana path of seeing. And then the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th are all the path of meditation. And the difference in this is that, like the path of meditation, it's like the percentage that you get it, the percentage of improvement over the course of the levels. It's like the level of the mental capacity or capability increasing over the course of the levels. So the 8 consciousnesses are all confused. And the reason they're confused is because they're all stained by ignorance or affected by ignorance, and so things appear to the 8 consciousnesses as if they were true. And they also apprehend or grasp things wrong, as if they existed truly or had a self, and so forth. And so for this reason, all of the 8 consciousnesses are confused. And so the way we need to overcome these 8 consciousnesses is by going through the 5 paths and the 10 levels.
pena karari zog tagim rong thoma ma tagim ngozu je parte jibi rikwa teza tata ko ka no yoro che tong pena ngozu je bate jibi rikwa yoro rong thoma ma ibda che hi so ek tagda ro pena nawi na ba hibana rong thoma ma ibda dagje nawi ong bu su je parte jibi rikwa kon hi pena drai jin chi ene jibi rikwa ati hi yoro ta train te rong Tomo mai na yom bo su je par te ngo chi be ko tre ngo rong tab ji be ba ji ji na ba shi ba na rong tomo ma da ji ngo su je par te ji be ba ka ke ro ngo rong tab ji be ba lu ji ben lu xian da na rong tomo ma da ji lu ngo su je be te ji be ba ka ke ane da ri ji ngo rong tab ji ba dai ben yi ji na ba shi ba da ji na ko ro da rongko tumo mai budagi yonzu jebte ne jibe riba nyoi naba shiba kura kana ji jago na mingpa kunjer mai na ba ngada jibe debla lungma te namre hioro na kunje number shiba na ne pakcha zange kunje te jibe ne ta pena kase nyento ro na madeb lungma te bas ko driba yang ma tiche ne debla lungma te ba yang de pakcha zange kunje te jibe debla lungma te bi namre te sinyi su ha ko zan de pe le lo cha ro pe na lam khoro su sinyi yo ra yo
and so, can you handle more, or do you want to translate what you've got first?
Maybe first.
Oh, 空格单言了，这就嘛个清晰了。
对。
那刚才的问题呢，是问到说堪布可不可以就是做一些图表来列明这个我们所讲到的5道10地5种佛智，还有80之间的这种关系，它们的这个作用。那堪布呢给予的回答是首先关于这个80呢，它是我们心识它当中的它的这个分类分成是8种，这个心识认知分成是8种，而5道10地当中的5道呢，它是所代表的是所有修行的众生所有行者，他的这个道分成是5道，而10地呢 是针对这个菩萨登地菩萨的这种次第。而五道当中的说的所有的行者呢，包括这个凡夫的修行者小乘的、大乘菩萨甚至佛也包含在内。而在五道当中的第一跟第二道，就是第一道的资粮道，第二道的这个加行道，这是凡夫所处于修行者处于的这种道。第三道是见道，第四呢是修道，这是大乘菩萨的这个境界，他的所处的这种道。第五呢是无学道，这是佛陀所处的。那所以呢，这是五道。而十地呢，这个就很简单了，因为它所指的就是菩萨的这种境界。那一地菩萨所指的是在五道中见道的这个修持。而从二地、三地、四地一直到十地菩萨，这个呢是指修道当中的修持。而修道当中的修持，这些不同的菩萨的次第呢，主要所指的是在修持当中，它的这个证悟以及这个证悟的力量的不断的增加所以把它分成十地。而80呢，我们说的心识的80，它是迷惑的，是颠倒的，因为呢80是被无明的力量所控制，它执着于现象，认为是真的，认为有我见。那因此呢，所有的80它都是迷惑颠倒的，要去除这80。而要去除这80的方法呢，就是修持我们刚才说的这个五道十地的修行。
So actually this is kind of easier if you understand the characteristics of each of the paths and the consciousnesses. Like each of the consciousnesses has its own characteristics. Like the characteristic of the I consciousness is the awareness that arises from its specific dominant condition, the I faculty, and apprehends form autonomously. The characteristics of the ear consciousness would be the awareness that arises from its specific dominant condition, the ear faculty, and apprehends sound, or apprehends the essence of sound autonomously. The characteristic of the nose consciousness would be the awareness that arises from its specific dominant condition, the nose faculty, and apprehends the essence of scent autonomously. The characteristics of the taste consciousness would be the awareness that arises from its specific dominant condition, the tongue faculty, and apprehends the essence of flavor autonomously. The characteristic of the body faculty is the awareness that arises from its specific dominant condition, the body faculty, and apprehends the essence of touch autonomously. The characteristics of the mental faculty would be the awareness that arises from its specific dominant condition, the mental faculty. The characteristic of the afflicted consciousness is the obscured neutral awareness that focuses on the ground consciousness. Obscured neutral awareness that focuses on the ground consciousness. And the characteristic of the ground consciousness is the obscured neutral obscured neutral awareness that is the basis for all good and bad imprints. So these are the characteristics of the 8 consciousnesses.
When you mentioned about the emotion as neutral and focused,
Obscure to neutral.
neutral.
And it focuses, it looks at the 8th consciousness.
When you say
Obscured neutral, this means that it's neither virtuous or unvirtuous, but it's also doesn't see things clearly, it's also a little bit obscured. And the 8th consciousness is also obscured neutral.
那所以接着堪布是说呢，如果我们要认知这个80，如果要能够记住这个80的这种特征呢，你会更容易的明白它。那而这个80呢，它各自有各自的这种可以说是特点。那首先呢，这些我们说的这个眼识呢，它是从这个眼识的主要的源，也就是从眼根当中所升起的一种色相的觉知。那而且这种觉知呢是单一的这样的一种认知，单一的这样的一种觉知认知，而从应该是觉知单一的这样的一种色相的觉知，而耳识呢是从其主要的因缘，也就是耳根所升起的这种单一的这种声音的觉知。而鼻舌呢是从它的主要的这个因缘鼻根所升起的对于这种气味的这种单一的或者是个体的这样的觉知。舌根呢，舌是从这个它的主要的因缘，也就是舌根所升起的对于这种味道的这种单一的或者是个体的这样的一种觉知。而身识是从它的主要的因缘，也就是这个身根所升起的对于身体的这种个体的或者是单一的这样的一种觉知。而意识呢，就是从它的这个主要的因缘，也就是意根所升起的这种意念的单一的个体的这样的觉知。而烦恼意呢，它是无记的，也就是说没有记是好还是坏，但是呢，它是具有障碍的，专注于这个普基识这样的一个识，就是烦恼识或者烦恼意。然后普基识呢，它也是含藏一切的善恶好坏的这样的习气，那同时也是具有障碍性，也是无记的不计善恶的这样的一个特性。
The characteristics of the 5 paths. The characteristics of the 5 paths, the characteristics of the path of accumulations are virtues that lead to liberation, or that are the precursors to liberation. The characteristic of the path of joining is the realization of the truth that precedes clear realization. The characteristic of the path of seeing is clear realization of the truth. The characteristic of the path of meditation is the clear realization of the truth subsequent to the path of seeing.
First path is accumulation of the virtues.
The path of accumulation is those virtues that are precursors or that will lead to liberation. The path of joining is the realization of the truths prior to clear realization.
Prior.
And then the path of seeing is clear realization of the truth. And then it's the clear realization of the truth after, or subsequent to, after the path of seeing.
那五道的特点呢，是首先在这个资粮道呢，是一切的这个善行这个功德的这种积累以致证得解脱之前的，这就是解脱之前的这种资粮功德的这种积累，就是资粮道。那加行道呢，就是在证的这种清晰的这种证悟之前的部分的这种修行，就是加行道。而见道呢，就是清晰的证悟认知出现了，这是见道。而修道呢，就是在见道产生的这种证悟之后的这种清晰的这种证悟认知。
Zudam de ye dam ji ze bo ni dam ne ni be ra nam ban je ge ga na je ba lam ro wa ye zi be zo le ro wa jo tem yo shin ji da ja